Let's get ready to rumble.
Yes, we're back. It's episode 125 of the Hibs Ramble. It's me, your host Liam, with you this evening, and I'm joined by the fabulous Mr. Craig Leach. How are you, my good friend?
I am fresh off a family break last week.
Oh, where did you go?
Good. Centre Parks.
Ooh.
Yes.
What about Centre Parks?
It was good, mate. It was good. Good wee break. I am now, as of yesterday, back being a contributing taxpaying member of society.
Round of applause for Craig Leach. He's got himself a job and he's done it brilliantly.
And also, to cap off what was a great week, an absolutely fucking sensational performance from David Gray's European Chasing Hibernian.
Oh,
on
incredible.
Sunday.
They say good things come in threes, Craig. They really do. They really do say that. Obviously, yeah, we did win 4-0. I was about to say 3-0 there. We did win 4-0 at the weekend. The most important thing, Craig, is that it was the first time that I'd taken Mila to a league game, and we came away with the 3 points.
Yeah, so the only downer on the Sunday was the consistent messages to you saying, Mila, gives a wave, and I got, like when Harry McCurdy ran past you, I got severely patched. So,
you know what she said to me? She said, "Who is that absolute loser that keeps texting your phone, Daddy?"
yeah.
And I says, it's just my colleague from the podcast. And she goes, "Why is he wanting me to wave to him?" And I says, I don't know, darling. Just, he's all the way in the famous 5-stand. He can't hurt you, hen. He can't hurt you. But no, the first time ever that Mila's been to a league game and we've come away with the 3 points. Because I firmly thought, I was like, when I was putting her in the car and that to take her on Sunday, I was like, is this a good idea? Because if we lose, it's probably going to be her fault.
Aye.
But we didn't. We won.
We did.
So
And we won in spectacular fashion.
She could take the credit for it. Yeah, just before we get to the Dundee game, obviously, there's been a little bit of news over the last day or two about the fixtures for the top 6. We'll come on to that a little bit later on. But just give me your initial reaction at how the fixtures have laid out.
I would have preferred St Mirren to be at home, so we obviously didn't have the extra away game. However, I think it gives us a real chance to try and get third wrapped up ASAP, given that we've got Aberdeen then Dundee United straight away.
Yeah, really good chance.
You didn't really want... You wouldn't have been wanting to go into those games maybe near the end of the split with the sort of
with it to play for,
to be a decider, yeah. And I think that having Celtic slap bang in the middle when they've likely have wrapped up the title might help us as well.
Yeah,
I did say in our chat that I probably would have preferred them on Trophy Day, when effectively they've got fuck all to play for, and we hopefully would have had third wrapped up by then.
No, but by the time that the end of the season comes around, we'll be playing Rangers, who will have nothing to play for.
Yeah,
because they're not going to win the league, are they?
Yeah, well, definitely not. But no, I think it's probably the best way it could have played out. I know it wouldn't have happened, but I would have rather had Aberdeen at home and Dundee United away if the fixtures had played out that way during the season. But we've already been up to Pittodrie and given them a sore arse this season, so there's no reason why we can't do it again.
Exactly, and a point wouldn't really be the worst result in the world either if we were to go up there and get a draw. So,
yeah.
Listen, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Anything that keeps us the same level ahead of them as we are now, or takes us even further away, will be
massive.
I think 4 points for the games will see us finish third. But that's presuming we get the 4 points.
I hope you're right.
We don't want to count our proverbial chickens before they have hatched.
This is absolutely true. Absolutely. And something that we didn't want to do on Sunday. I think David Gray would have been saying to the players in the dressing room before the game, this is our pitch, this is our rules. We'll play our game and we're coming after you, Dundee. An unchanged side for the third game in a row. Were you surprised? Were you expecting to maybe see Miko come out for Kieran Bowie?
I was, because I don't... I actually felt, I'll go into performances in a bit, but I think Miko's been huffing and puffing. He's not been playing poorly, but he's not exactly been leading the line as you'd expect a centre forward to do. However, I did feel there was an extra sort of zip about his performance in the first half.
Thought he was good.
He was extremely unlucky. He had the shot that went, obviously, came back off the post, and then the one that just dragged wide. And I think if one of them was to go in, he maybe would have had the second half that Bowie had when he came on.
Yeah.
But no, I think the team pretty much picks itself. The now, mate. Everybody's deserving of their place. The only one that you could have argued would have maybe been Obita for Nicky Cadden, but since Nicky Cadden got injured, Jordan Obita's been superb. So
yeah, I think
the team is we're in a really, really good position now where the team is picking itself.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be harsh on Jordan Obita to come out for Nicky Cadden. I know that Nicky Cadden's obviously the player that probably is the best in terms of personnel in that position. But the way that Jordan Obita has been playing, it's kind of his jersey to lose at the moment.
No, it is, and that's what I think is really good about this team at the minute. And that even somebody like Levitt, if Joe Newell was to be fit again before the end of the season, like club captain or not, I don't see where he gets back in.
Yep.
And that's testament to someone like Levitt, who's had his doubters and his detractors sort of since he signed, really. But these last sort of 5-6 weeks since he's came in, obviously he had, Kwon had a chance to make the jersey his own. He seems to be, this sounds pretty harsh, but thankfully he seems to be right out the picture at the minute. Mariah Welsh came in and done well, but then when he had to, so it was, it's a domino effect. When Mariah Welsh came in, took his chance against Celtic, but then he for one reason or another slipped back out. Levitt sort of stepped up and made that jersey his own as well.
Absolutely. No, you're talking about Levitt there, and Levitt was one of the players that particularly impressed me in the first half, especially. Him and, obviously, Nectar Triantis Team of the Week. I thought they were both brilliant, really trying to dominate the play, and were sparking some really good moments of proper free-flowing football. But what I noticed about Nectar more than I've noticed about him in many other games this season was it was like every time he was trying the World Cup ball, but every single time it was coming off. Aye.
One thing I sort of noticed about him as well is, and I probably never noticed about him as before, is his anticipation. So there was a couple of periods in the first half where the ball went back to the Dundee United centre half. And as the ball's going to the centre half, Triantis is already, he's not waiting for the pass and then trying to shut down the midfielder. His body shape is making a move to just try and cut that pass out before it even gets to the centre half. So we're just, mate, I honestly can't remember in recent history a team like this where even there was a period in the first half where Chris Cadden, lost the ball high up the park, and he worked like fuck to get back into position to not only stop a sort of dangerous pass in the middle, but he ended up winning a throw-in off his determination to stop the ball going into a dangerous area. We're just in a really, really positive position now, mate, all over the park. Even going on to the subs that came on, when you look at the way that the game ended, Gale got a goal, Bowie got 2 goals and an assist, and Nicky Cadden got an assist. Like, we were bemoaning David Gray's
You can't ask for much more than that from your substitutes.
No, you can't. And that's the thing, at the start of the season, we were bemoaning David Gray's game management. We actually, when you look at games like Dundee United away, the decision to bring on Josh Campbell was a sort of contributing factor into us, conceding an equaliser and then subsequently losing the game. But even Josh, when he came on Sunday, worked his bollocks off. And that's
like he always does, though. Like he always does.
Yeah, but there's at 3-0 up, 4-0 up, there's a just stand up. If they've got the ball at the back, let them have it. But no, he's closing down. He's harrying.
Do you think that's maybe because of David Gray's obviously picked the same team 3 weeks in a row, right? And do you think that maybe the substitutes are thinking, when I come off the bench, I need to make an impact if I want to be in the team next week. Because it's not a given that he's not just going to rotate for rotation's sake.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so. I think the squad are now in a position where they know that if they're coming on, like the objective now won't be for Josh Campbell or Kieran Bowie or Mariah Welsh, whoever it is, to come on and think, right, I need to show myself to get myself in the team. I think their objective is now, let's just fucking carry on what the work's been done before to push us over the line for third, or subsequently come on and potentially change the game if the game's tight. But thankfully on Sunday we didn't need that. Like that was, I was saying to my mate who I was at the game with, like during this whole run, right, I've not came away from a game thinking, fucking hell, we were class the day.
Mm-hmm.
But then subsequently, I've never came away from a game thinking, oh, we've ground that one out today. It's been sort of
just very comfortable performances.
Aye, but Sunday was like everything clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Like apart from a 10-minute spell between minutes 10 and 20, where I kind of thought we started really well, we started pressing them high with a high intensity, and we kind of just dropped a wee bit and let Dundee into the game. But beyond that, I thought we were outstanding front to back. Like there was always that sort of trepidation that, you know, Simon Murray up against Rocky, you know, in the way that he works, and you know he can give defenders a torrid time like that. The back three, Miller, Rocky, and Iredale, were outstanding.
Yeah, well, it's often times where you come away from a 4-0 win, and we're only talking about the attacking players and how well we were going forward, but like you said there was times in the first half and the second half at the start of the second half that we were under a little bit of pressure, but I felt like the back three were, again, super, super solid. Simon Murray got absolutely no change out of anyone. And I was saying at the game that I don't know how he's looking so ineffective in that game when throughout the whole season, Simon Murray's probably been one of the better players in the league.
Aye, it's just, I don't know, again, we keep talking about it, I don't know what's changed or how it's changed or what's actually happened, but Lewis Miller and Rocky especially, because
it's a haircut for Miller, I think.
We never really knew what to expect for Iredale when he came in, but there was always that sort of feeling of fear around Rocky and Lewis Miller.
Yeah.
But the positions that they've found themselves, like Lewis Miller is just tailor made for that right centre back role. We spoke about it so often, and him and Rocky are just completely dovetailing off each other. They know that if Rocky has to go out, Miller can sit him behind. Or even we've seen it on Sunday as well, you know, when Cadden finds himself in a sort of deeper position, Miller will go beyond him and overlap him. And they two, I think, have been just as important as the players at the top end of the park. You know, we're not where we are just by Triantis putting in performances like he has, or Martin Boyle finding form again, or, you know, a combination of Bowie, Gale and Miko contributing, or even the two wing-backs. The three centre-halves have been just as important in that run. And I can't speak... I think we've always been sort of Rocky fans. You know, we've always felt that there was maybe something there, but we couldn't quite figure out what it was. And he's proven us, you know, especially those ones who didn't rate him wrong a million times over, because he's matured in this last 6 months into an absolutely outstanding centre half. Even mistakes, you know, like the mistake at Tynecastle maybe could have...
It was a great finish.
But the fact that we went on to win the game, and you know, before this season he hadn't scored, he's now scored 4. And they've all been really important goals. You know, you go back to the ones against Aberdeen and Rangers, last minute equalisers, pivotal to
the winner at Ayr United.
The winner at Ayr to get us through in the cup, and then even today, Sunday. You know, I
feel like we just needed a breakthrough as the half was wearing on, innit?
It could have been one of those where we maybe huffed and puffed. You know, Miko's 2 chances that hit the post and drag wide. You think, oh, is it going to be one of the days? And Rocky just comes up with a really important goal at a really important time and really settled us down to sort of go on and, you know, maybe settle the crowd down a wee bit as well.
A real good finish, actually.
It was, but you're getting to the stage where, you know, fans are now getting expectant. And rightly so, because of the run that we've been on. And I keep going back to it, where we were compared to where we are. You just need to look. I think the SPFL tweeted something out yesterday, like I don't even know what you call it, but like a moving graph of the positions throughout the season. And up until week 14, we're like that.
Yeah.
And then for week 14, it's just, we've just been like that.
I don't know if we've actually dropped down a position since we started our ascent.
We might have switched between like 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th at some point, but it's been honestly, it's been. I know people will say that they had the faith and wanted to stick with Gray, and I totally get that, right? I get that. I was very vocal about, no, after that Dundee game, I was like, no, there's no way that he can stay. Like, he just can't, for me.
Yeah.
And then there was ones who said, no, like, we've went through this churn of managers for so long, give him a chance. And I'm very glad to say that I was wrong. But I don't care how positive you were about David Gray and this squad of players. Nobody's seen this coming.
I think I touched on that last week, and the fact that it would have been so difficult to see something like this coming. But I mean, it's on the flip side, it's not surprising where we are now, given what we've seen that these players can do. But just going back to the game there, obviously Rocky gets the goal, and I tell you what, Craig, if he's not going to sign a new contract after hearing 4 sides of Easter Road singing his name after he scored a goal, then I'm afraid to say I don't think he'll ever sign a new contract with Hibs, because that's special to go from where Rocky was, like you touched on there, to being now this absolute hero and kind of epitomising this team as a whole. I would love for him to sign a new deal.
So would I. And I was very vocal, I think, as well, back in October, November time, saying bin a lot of them. Like every single one of them. And again, I don't think I was wrong at that time. But over time, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I've been proven massively wrong. Rocky's been sort of through the real lows of being a Hibs player. And that, it's ironic that song that he was serenaded by 4 sides of Easter Road on Sunday, again, fuck me, was the one that 3 sides of Tynecastle were roaring at him after he scored the OG.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not very often a player goes for being mocked by Hearts fans especially to being completely adored by Hibs fans. But you're spot on with what you say though. He epitomises this Hibs team. He wasn't getting a game at the start of the season. He couldn't kick his arse. He wasn't given a chance. He was warming up in front of me every second Saturday. And now you're looking at him thinking, if Boyle and Cadden and all that go off and somebody hands him the armband, you wouldn't bat an eyelid at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you think that perhaps there's a shout for Player of the Year?
For
Rocky? For Hibs Player of the Year?
I think we're in a great position now where, last season it was like, albeit I got it because he was the best of a shite bunch. And maybe even a couple of years before. I think Chris Cadden got it a year before as well when we finished in the bottom 6. No, I'm not wanting to disparage their achievements, but getting Player of the Year for Hibs when you're in the bottom 6 is kind of an empty award. Whereas this year you could make an argument for
every player.
Maybe not every player, but I think you've got. I mean, for me, Nectar's in with a shout for League Player of the Year. He won't get it because it'll either be.
It'll go to Maida.
It'll go to Maida, and probably rightfully so. But
Maida or Dalby or Murray, maybe.
I think Nectar deserves to be in the conversation. And that, you could go through the Jordan Smith since he's came in, Nicky Cadden since he got a run in the team, Boyle for his return to form, Nectar, Lewis Milton. Like, you could go through so many of them, which I think is a really, really good place. Jack Iredale, I think Jack Iredale's been outstanding.
Yeah, agreed.
He's you're going through, like, you go through the team now and you go, oh, he's first name on the team sheet, he's first name on the team sheet. And you get to the end of the names and you're like, fucking hell, I've just named 11 players who are first names on the team sheet.
Exactly.
So it's a great place to be in. And we're now, even Sunday, again, I put it on Twitter after the game. Sunday was historically, right, a game where we fall on our arse. We've got off the back of beating one of the old firm, a big crowd at Easter Road against a team toiling.
And also to put ourselves back third.
Put ourselves back. No, we were
and
still
3
third.
points clear.
We were still
were we?
third. Yeah, we were still third. But even the pressure in knowing that half an hour before we went out, so 35 minutes before the game starts, Aberdeen are 2 points ahead in third.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, they're now dead level on points with us. So everything on paper led that to be a Hibs draw or a Hibs defeat off the back of being on a 16-game unbeaten run. And not only did they go against that, they absolutely fucking smashed the theory.
Yeah.
Because we're now 17 goals better off than Aberdeen.
It's something mental like that, but
So that's almost worth an extra point in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the players and Gray need a hell of a lot of credit for putting in a performance like that when the stakes were at the level that they were.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like what you said there, we went out and we completely smashed the norm of Hibs really in that second half. Yeah. Although Dundee did come out a little bit more aggressive in that second half, like you'd expect them to. They're 1-0 down. They're still in with a really good chance of getting something out of the game. But again, Craig, we were just able to deal with them, defend, really limit them to very little in terms of clear-cut chances. And then, I mean, the goals that we score and the attacking play that we've got in the second half is just incredible. We touched on it earlier with the substitutes coming on: Dwight Gale, Nicky Cadden, Kieran Bowie, Nathan Mariah Welsh and Josh Campbell were the five that came on. And you're just looking at those goals there. Maybe in terms of a Dundee perspective, poor goals to concede, but if you're David Gray, you're absolutely delighted with the build-up and the positions that your strikers are getting into.
Not even the position that your strikers are getting into. Your right centre-back is in the left wing position.
He said that his hair made him feel like Neymar.
But the thing is, though, like that goes to show you where Lewis Miller's decision-making has also improved, because I was half expecting him to just try and dink it into the box. But he's had the foresight to see that Kieran Bowie's standing in acres on his own. And with Bowie, he's taken it really well. It's one of those awkward ones where it's came to him on the left-hand side with his left foot. And you think that he's almost going to... That could be one that if he maybe hits it a wee bit wrong, ends up going out with a throw-in because of how he's going to curl it. But no, it's brilliantly taken finish. Gale's goal, I think, just typifies the legendary Dwight Gale, as Steve Bruce likes to call him.
Do you think his celebration was maybe a little bit of a nod to...
Yep. But it was
how's the bacon, did you say?
Thank you. Morning. Thank you.
Hi.
But no, he took it really well. And then the fourth goal was just... The fourth goal for me is my favourite, right? Because it's
Van Persie World Cup-esque.
No, not even that, mate. It's my idea, right? The football that I love to watch, right? And this is because I played in that position when I was younger. Get the ball down the line, get crosses in the box. That's what I like. So I like watching football like that. And Cadden's put in a perfect cross, and Bowie's just absolutely flung himself at it. He's now shown as well. I mean, he's only got 5 goals, but he's
played 15 games or something.
Not even that, but he's shown that his goal against Dundee earlier on in the season. He's taken it in for the right. He's jinked past a couple of players and he's slotted it. His goal at Dundee United was put through 1-on-1 and he's fucking lashed it. The goal that he scored, his first goal on Sunday, a nicely curled effort sort of away for the keeper, and then that second one, a diving header. Like, he's scoring.
I think he's got everything. I really do.
He's scoring all types of goals, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with a full pre-season under his belt.
This is actually, I've got this written down, and it's like showing you the capability that he's got, the sort of versatility that Kieran Bowie has to score all those types of goals. And for me, he's very similar in terms of how I think you look at him, and you look at Miko, and you think they look like they're two very similar players just by looking at them and how
Their stature and
their
their
physiques are.
physique,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas I think Kieran Bowie uses his physique and his body so much better than Miko does.
Yeah.
But that's not a slight on Miko, because I thought he was good at the weekend. But Kieran Bowie genuinely is just an absolute level ahead. And
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see it when we signed him in the summer. But yeah, like you said, once we get a full pre-season behind him, he's going to be a problem, a real problem.
And it's not just that. It looks, I think, it's quite too early, I think, for this, but it bodes well for Scotland as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you look at it on paper in the league, he's got the best return in terms of minutes wise, minutes per goals. So, it's we're looking good. We're looking really, really good.
We are. We really, really are. And I think I just wanted to touch on that final goal again, because I love goals like that as well. I love deep crosses. One of my favourite ever Hibs goals actually was it came in a 4-0 win. It was Brian Graham scored it. It was a 4-0 win at home against Morton. Jason Cummins with a deep cross.
Aye.
And it was a wonderful header from Brian Graham. I love
the one you mean.
Crossing headers from deep crosses. I love it so much.
Yep.
It's just great. It's the way that the game should be played.
Exactly.
Moving on quickly. Team of the week in the Who Scored. You've got Jordan Smith, Rocky Bashiri, Lewis Miller and Kieran Bowie all in there.
Speaks volumes, mate.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yep. And it's weird because I didn't really feel that Smith had a lot to do.
I don't think he did.
I know he made a good. I think he made a good
that save at the end.
Half. He made a good save in the first half as well
from Simon Murray. Yeah,
but he's so assured and confident coming for crosses and that now as well.
Do you think it was his mum being there that helped him?
Possibly, but it's just, you know what? It just shows you what playing with a bit of confidence can do.
Exactly.
Like the confidence is just ripping through this team from front to back. Back to front, sorry. And long may it continue.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like every single week this season, well, from November, we've had someone in the team of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's usually Triantis, so it's nice to see that they've given someone else a shot.
The individual accolades. I mean, Gray's won the manager of the month, 3 times now?
3 times, yeah. The most of any other, like no other Hibs manager has ever won it 3 times in a season.
Yep. Nicky Cadden's had Player of the Month. Nectar's probably been unlucky not to have Player of the Month. Boyle probably could have had a Player of the Month. Like, it's quite, when you look back, obviously we wouldn't have went on this run, but see if we had, even that Dundee United game that we turned into a loss, or even the Dundee game where were we 2-0 up at home in that one?
No, we were 1-0 down and we went 2-1 up.
2-1 up, but then we conceded late on in that. If we hadn't conceded late on against Hearts,
yep,
where could we have been? You know what I mean? There's an argument.
I feel like we'd have been pushing second.
Yep.
I mean,
and this just makes me feel, were we too reactionary at the start of the season, given that?
Absolutely. Because, mate, me and you have said this like 3 or 4 times now on the pod, that you can't see the wood for the trees when you're in it. But now, us looking back at this, and if we went back and watched the games back from the start of the season, with the exception of the 3-0 against St Mirren away and the game that St Mirren beat us at home, I think if you look at those games and you watch them from start to finish, you would go, unlucky a bit there, made an arse of it a wee bit there, but in general, probably weren't really that bad.
It was individual errors. You again, Dundee United's the one that just sticks in my head when you're getting that stupid sending off. Josh Campbell taking the ball to the corner and losing it really, really easily, looking for a free kick, and then Bursic making 2 or 3 massive errors of judgment. It's easy enough. Again, hindsight's a wonderful, wonderful thing, but we don't need to focus on where we could be. I think we just need to focus on where we are, and where we are is
incredible.
As the driving seat in pole position for, hopefully, based on how the cup goes, group stage European football.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you'd have said to us at any point this season, before a ball had been kicked in the season, that by the split you'll be 3 points clear in third, you wouldn't care how you got there.
Yeah,
you really wouldn't
100%.
care how you got there. We could win the first 17 games or go and beat in the first 17 games and then
we could have had an Aberdeen start to the season.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter how we got here, and for the fact of the matter is, we could have had a few more points at the start of the season, and it's all well and good us saying, "Oh, where would we be? Where would we be?" Let's be realistic here. You're never going to push Rangers for a second. It's just not going to happen. I don't think any team in this league has got the stamina. As shite as Rangers are at the moment, I don't think any team in this league has got the stamina over 38 league games to push an Old Firm side, whether it be Celtic or Rangers, for second place. But saying that, is this Hibs team the best that you've seen?
Well, I mean, on paper, there's been no team since the 40s that have went on this run that we're on.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, have you ever been, maybe a better way to ask this is, have you ever been going into any game, regardless of who it's against, have you ever been more confident in a Hibs team to get the job done and get 3 points?
That Mowbray team.
You think?
That Mowbray team was just something. That Mowbray team was something special. The thing I'll say about that team, right? They'll say the difference between that team and this team is that team was capable of going to Celtic Park or Ibrox and completely turning them over, right? But we were also susceptible to playing Hearts the following week and getting turned over.
Yeah.
This team doesn't have that about them. But that Mowbray team was special, and even for that 6-month period under Lennon, like that was They were
special, yeah.
I don't think this Hibs team will match the excitement levels of that team, but you could argue that they're a better drilled machine.
I'm really enjoying watching this Hibs team, though. I really, really am.
Yeah,
and I mean, we could pass the ball at the back for 90 minutes and win 1-0 every week and go 17 unbeaten, and I would be happy watching that. But I just feel like you maybe need to go back to 2016 and that cup winning team to find another team where there's as much of a connect between the players and the fans and the feeling of everyone's in it together, which is crazy because at the start of the season there was such a massive disconnect.
Yeah, I do think, what I will say is I do think it helps massively that it's David Gray that's in the dugout.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is that feeling that, again, you could go back to it, if any other manager has that run at the start of the season, they're gone.
Yeah.
And there's no one that typifies a connection between support and the squad more than David Gray does. And I actually thought about this yesterday, given that, when David Gray came in as a player, obviously it's different circumstances, but we'd just been relegated. The club was in a mess. There was no connection between the support and the player base whatsoever. And then at the start of this season, we came off a shite season, big squad turnover. There was no connection between the players and the squad. And I just think having David Gray there, who's been through a huge transition at the club before, just helps.
Yeah.
Like, it really does help. And you can see, and this is why I think even with players like Kieran Bowie, big money signing, he's now fit again. he comes on at the weekend and scores 2. He could easily be grumpy about not playing, but he's no.
Doesn't strike me as that sort of lad either.
Dwight Gale could be in the position where, twilight in my career, my potential last season, I want to play as much as possible, but he's no. Nicky Cadden having the great season he is until he gets injured. Well, I should be fucking back in there, but he's not. Like, I don't think that we probably won't realise how much it actually means that Gray is in the position that he's in until one day that he's not.
Yeah.
Because it does. His status within the support carries a massive, massive weight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like we said at the start of the season, when he got appointed, we said that if it goes tits up, he doesn't get it. It's those above him that gets it. Mm-hmm. And that's what transpired with the Block 7 turning the banner upside down, and folk, we even forget that Ben Kensel's away as well. Like, we've not even got a CEO.
We don't need one.
Aye.
Mate.
I know we're going on a bit of a tangent and whatnot and going off it, but it does feel very, very special that Gray's in the position that he's in, given what he achieved for us as a player, that he could now be taking us into group stage European football for the first time.
Exactly. I will rein you back in though, and
yes.
I want to ask you about the fixtures for the remaining 5 games of the season. I've got them in front of me here. The final 5 for Hibs, Aberdeen and Dundee United, because I feel like that's the 3 teams who are, obviously able to get third place.
Yep.
So, as you'll already know, Ramblers, Hibs start the split away at Pittodrie against Aberdeen. The following week we have Dundee United at home, then Celtic away, then midweek away to St Mirren, and then we end the season at home to Rangers. Aberdeen obviously have Hibs at home on the first game after the split. They're then away to St Mirren. They're then away to Rangers. They've got Celtic at home midweek, and then end the season away to Dundee United. Dundee United have Celtic first at home, Hibs away second, then they're at home to St Mirren, away to Rangers, at home to Aberdeen. Now, I think, like you said earlier on, 4 points from the first 2 games would be brilliant, but for me, third is going to be decided on game week 37. We're away to St Mirren, Aberdeen at home to Celtic, Dundee United away to Rangers.
I think the way the fixtures have panned out have been kinder to us because we don't have to play either one of the old firm first or second.
When it means something.
Yeah, and the fact that we've got Rangers last game of the season as well.
I feel like Aberdeen Dundee United last game of the season is going to be a straight shootout hopefully for fourth.
For fourth, yeah. I think we're in a really good position. 4 points for those 2 games. Okay, who have Aberdeen got second? Have they got St Mirren?
Aberdeen have got St Mirren away second.
St Mirren away, and then Celtic at home.
Rangers away, then Celtic at home, then United away.
Well, they've got the old firm back to back.
Yep.
It's not a foregone conclusion by any means.
But we could take a massive stride after the first 2.
100%. 3 points for that first game for us, and it's done and dusted, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think a 6 point difference.
Banking on Dundee United getting beat at Parkhead. No, not at Parkhead, at Tannadice, sorry.
Yep,
against Celtic.
A 6 point swing with the goal difference that we've got that effectively makes it an extra, like on paper it's an extra point, I suppose. 17 goals in 5 games to turn around. Nah. But what I also do think is that if say we lost that game, I don't think it would change anything for us in terms of how David Gray wants us to go about it. It would almost, I think so. And I think it would almost be a thing with Hibs fans in it, right? The run's done now. Let's start another one. It wouldn't be a calamity. Oh no, we're in a fucking mess. No.
Yeah.
Like it would very much be.
That's not what happened when we got beat at Parkhead in the Cup. So I wouldn't expect that to happen
Exactly.
If we get beat again.
And you're almost, in that way, you're getting your hardest fixture out the road, I think.
Well, definitely the most important one. Maybe not the hardest, I think.
But you know what I mean in terms of hardest, in terms of what's actually on the line and what it means.
Yeah.
Because we never go into games against Rangers and Celtic expecting anything, but we do have the experience of beating Celtic this season and beating Rangers this season. Aberdeen's late collapse against them on Sunday will play a part in their mind. They got absolutely fucking turned over. Obviously, they held Celtic to a 2-2 draw and then got fucking scalped a couple of weeks later. So that psychologically will play in their mind. Barring the first game of the season against them, the first game of the season against Celtic, we've kind of held our own. In the league anyway. I thought the cup, we were miles off in the cup. But league-wise, we've held our own. Dundee United, we've already beaten them. We've already beaten Rangers. So we don't have those like psychological feelings against those teams when we play them.
Do you think the fact that we've got Aberdeen first, and if we can get 3 points at Pizzeria, it's more of a case of, instead of us having to look over our shoulder, it's a case of we've just got to do what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And instead of, if we'd have had Celtic and Rangers, say we had Celtic and Rangers first 2 games, and then you got Aberdeen in one of your last couple of games, and it's the pressure's really, really on, and that's going to be like a straight shootout for third. I feel like this suits us so much better because there's less pressure.
Yep. I think the way that David Gray is as well is that when you think back to the last time we were in a situation like this, we went to Tynecastle with pressure on us as we were going for third/second with Rangers and Aberdeen. And Neil Lennon got himself into too much of a bother. He completely changed the team. We ended up getting beat that night and effectively chucked second place away.
Yeah.
Gray will only do that.
No.
I would be quite confident in saying that we will go to Aberdeen and we will name the same starting 11, barring injuries, and the same substitutes, barring injuries, that we've named for the last 3 games. And it would be very much a case of business as usual.
Mm-hmm. Would not be surprised.
And we need to remember as well, there's no pressure on us. There's no pressure on us going to Pizzeria. The pressure's on us. They need to catch us.
Mm-hmm.
Dundee United.
Do you think that's going to play into our hands as well?
It could do. It very much could do. And the fact that we've already turned them over there this season as well will play a part in them. I think on paper, form-wise, it sits with us. Psychologically, the results that we've got against them this season will sit with us. They went up the park and made it 3-2 with a body kick, and we pulled it back. We went up there when we were starting.
They were third.
We went up there and we turned.
We were 11th.
We then got them at Easter Road, and it was a procession when we beat them.
Yeah.
So, we're in a really, really good place all over, and that's what makes me, that's what leads me to be confident that we can seal it. We can seal it within those first 2 games.
Full time, Aberdeen 3, Hibs 0.
3-0, Hibs in the gutter, David Gray out.
There's never been anything more nailed on. Well, just before we wrap up, Craig, do you want to answer some listener questions?
Let's do so, please, mate.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
First off, as always, John McIntosh asks, dinner, 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 dinner. He's actually put 5 dinners there, which I wasn't a massive fan of because we only scored 4 goals at the weekend.
Yeah, I am playing 5s in 54 minutes, so I will not be having anything before I go. So I'll probably just have something, beans on toast or something when I get in.
That's an athlete.
I'm really enjoying it. Do you know what, right? See, for such a simple tea, I'm really enjoying having a wee bit of beans on toast now and again.
Not had beans on toast for years.
It's so versatile. You've got the beans, you've got the bread.
You got toast. You got the butter.
Aye. You got the fork, you got the knife, you got the plate.
What am I having for my dinner? Well, I'll tell you, Megan and the kids are away to a caravan holiday with her family. So I get to be a caveman for the next couple of nights,
Are we going to Dakota Pizza?
I've got a pizza at the shop.
Oh, boo.
But it's one of the takeaway ones. Kind of like the takeaway style ones with the stuffed crust and that. So I've got one of them for tonight and a big massive bottle of the garlic and herb sauce. I'm just going to lather all over it.
That potentially calls for Warzone after fives then, potentially.
I tell you what, it potentially calls for Warzone after fives. I've also got some beers in the fridge that I'm going to tank.
Nice.
So yeah, well, fuck it, let's play some Warzone after fives. I'm going to go away and watch a Villa game. And then I'll wait for you to come back, since you never invited me to your game yesterday. And that was very sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, mate. Actually, Dens Park Choir replied to our questions tweet because I put PS ha 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 at Dens Park Choir in the questions tweet, and he replied saying, answer the DM shite bag. And contrary to popular belief, he didn't DM me and say Kieran Bowie is amazing and Hibs are the best team in the country. They're actually organising a football tournament with the guys at Sammon's Pizzeria, and it's a charity five-a-side tournament at the World of Football in Edinburgh on the 14th of June, and it's all in aid of Dementia Scotland. So I think the Ramble are getting a team together. Long Bangers, I'm sure, are getting a team together, and there's going to be a couple of other podcasts from throughout the country, football podcasts from throughout the country that are getting teams together. So if you are interested and want to be on the Ramble team, give us a message and we'll get you in for tryouts.
Yeah,
We'll see if
make sure
good.
you can make sure you can play football, please.
Send us your YouTube compilation, and
hopefully there's a couple of content creators in the space out there that play, because I would quite fancy using my portly frame to rough them up a wee bit.
Oh, like who? Like Aaron Fraser?
I'm not naming names, mate.
Can you blink twice if it's Aaron Fraser?
Nah, I'm not at all. It'll be it's a nice wee message for us to receive, obviously, to be invited. So hopefully if we can get us, we'll get a team together, but if anybody wants involved, come along, spend the day.
Yeah, I think we can register a team of up to 8. Yeah. Mark has already pulled himself out. He does not want to play. Which I mean is probably better for our sake, to be honest. But,
I've seen Mark at training.
You've not seen me, mate. I'm worse. But if you want to play, or if you're interested or want any more details, give us a shout and we can share it with you and see if you deserve to be on our team. Okay, next up, Gav Dick. Now let me have a wee read of this before I read it out to you, Craig. See if he's spelled everything right. He says,
do you know what, right? I'm in that good a mood with Hibs, he can have butchered it however many ways he wants.
Right, he says, great result today. This run is truly unbelievable. Thought Big Miko was better today. Unfortunate not to score. My take about Bowie after the United 3-1 away win is coming to the fore. The guy is leaving us for 5+ mil. He's just that good. The way he plays, if so different from others.
Totally agree, Gav. Well said, mate. And well
Brilliant.
This one.
Billy Sterling's asking, have fans ever been more wrong than we were with our opinions on Gray and his team? I don't think I've ever seen this sort of turnaround. It's incredible. And that's actually a good question. Like, have you ever seen, and not even just for Hibs, but I'll open it up to wider football, have you ever seen a bigger turnaround in football in general of the same group of players and the same manager? Because it would have been easy if we'd went out and spent a bag full of money in January and brought in 5-10 players and that changed our course of the season. But we've brought in one player who's played twice.
Yep, and it kind of makes a mockery of those greeting that we needed signings in January. Mm-hmm. There's probably ones like there's teams that have made an escape in the Premier League or that were doomed at some point. Or I think, what was it? I don't know, was it Brian McDermott we read in maybe? They were sitting 21st in the Championship in January and ended up getting promoted. So there will be examples of it, but Hibs-wise, no. Absolutely not.
I mean, I'm more than happy to eat my words and have egg all over my face.
You could argue that getting relegated and winning the cup 2 years later is a bit of a turnaround, but
Yeah, but
not in a short space of time. Not in this.
I'm talking with same manager, same players.
Nah, definitely not.
Well, there's your answer, Billy. Colin McLennan says post-split fixtures look in our favour, especially if we win our first 2 games, exactly like you said, Craig. We might get something from our game against Celtic, as they will be thinking about a cup final. Is third place a given, like Liam predicted ages ago? I don't think it's a given, but I think that if we manage to get a draw or a win up at Pataudry, it's 1,000,000% ours to lose.
Yeah, I think Colin McLennan has displayed for the first time
Massive
a severely
IQ.
high football and IQ tweet there.
Huge IQ, huge.
Huge. No, it's not a given. Not a given whatsoever. Given where we were, we can't get too ahead of ourselves. But the fixtures, as I've said, do fall kindly for us, and we have put ourselves in the best position possible.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Craig.
Yep.
Next up, Keith Robertson says, love the players, love Sir David Gray, love the club, love going a season unbeaten against Hearts, love finally beating Dundee, love that we have an opportunity versus St Mirren to beat every team in the top flight this season. Which I think in itself is a real good achievement if we manage it. I can't remember the last time that we were able to do something like that.
I don't really want to talk about going unbeaten against certain teams because I don't concern myself with bottom 6.
Lions don't lose sleep over opinions of a sheep.
Lions don't lose sheep.
Oh, fuck that. I'm going to need to edit that bit out.
Bottom 6 nonsense pish does not concern me.
It's good for them that they were in, they had an exciting game to maybe get top 6 though.
I mean, it is good for them. What is it? It's exciting to be involved in the battle for the top 6.
Oh, obviously. Especially when they spent all that time, at the bottom end of the league.
Yeah, and the fact that they just, the plucky wee souls just about managed to get there, but they just couldn't get over the line.
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
Aye. But it did. Callum made an interesting point the other day. If you're 1-0 down in a cup final, who are you wanting for motivation? Are you wanting Nick Montgomery or Neil Critchley? And I genuinely think, I honestly think
I'd want Helen Keller.
I think I would rather phone my dad.
I'd rather phone my dad. Imagine that team talk.
Say
Neil Critchley, man.
Do you know what? It makes it even better where we are. Seeing them lose their fucking shit. Like, absolutely lose their heads. And do you know what? It could happen to us next season, but it is funny to see it happening to them right now.
Yeah, it's not happening to us right now. We can live in the present.
Exactly. We can't live... No, but remember, we're not allowed to enjoy it because they won more games back in the 1800s that gives them a superior record. They also should have been 10, so we're not allowed to enjoy it. They also went 22 undefeated back in the 80s and drew most of the drew half the games. And remember, we're only third because
they are not.
Because they let us have it.
Mm-hmm.
So
thanks, Hearts.
It's the first time it's happened, and we're so long that we're above them, and we're not allowed to enjoy it. So, yeah.
No. Oh well. I suppose Jack Iredale's goal was pish as well. How funny was that at the end of the game on Sunday?
Do you know what's even better about it, right? For the first 14 games of the season, we had every set of fucking opposition fans singing Hibs are falling apart again.
Now we can sing it at everybody else.
And now we can sing it at everybody else. I particularly cannot wait, potentially, for a rendition at full time of Aberdeen away, ole, ole.
Oh, I'd love it. Are you going?
If I can get a ticket, mate, I think it'll be tight.
Yeah, I would. I'm planning on getting a ticket. That's my plan. Next up, Harvey Scott says, love to see Rocky completely pocketing that ginger inbred rat. It's a bit harsh. It's a bit nasty. I liked Simon Murray when he was at Hibs. Anyway, he says, just wanted to point out the Hibs are massive and wanted to remind you Aberdeen's best player joins the Hibs in 2 months' time.
I'd completely forgotten about Jamie McGrath signing for us in the summer.
So did I. Did you like Simon Murray when he was at Hibs?
I didn't mind him. Yeah, I thought he was...
I don't remember him being as angry as he is now.
No, he was an angry boy on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very angry. I like his haircut, though.
You know, I'm sure he's glad he turned down a move to us in the summer as well for the chance to be in the playoffs for Dundee.
I can't believe he's called him a ginger inbred rat.
Yeah.
It's quite nasty. Next up, Jordan Robertson. With us going in now to play the so-called best teams, can we sustain our run and take third? And plus, what position would you strengthen in the summer?
Oh, I think we can do a whole podcast on
strengthening in the summer.
Especially
if we manage to get league stage European football, there'll be a lot of strengthening that needs done in terms of depth.
And when you look at we'll need to strengthen everywhere because Miller and Rocky are out of contract. Triantis is at the end of his loan, and Gale
Hoylett,
and Miko and Hoylett are all out of contract. So yeah.
Stephen Bell's up next, and he says, "What's the more legendary streak? Hibernian's current 17-game top flight unbeaten streak, or the Undertaker's 21 undefeated streak at WrestleMania?"
I don't think you can beat the Undertaker's. Like that was magical.
I don't know. Well, the Undertaker, that's predetermined, though, isn't it? Hibs have to go out there and work hard.
Does this mean that Aberdeen are going to be the Brock Lesnar and fucking smashes into submission?
Don't think so. We're not at 21 yet.
No.
Stephen actually sent another question, and it says, do you think a giraffe has ever suffered from acrophobia?
What's acrophobia?
Fear of heights.
It does. The question I've got about giraffes is, right, see if a giraffe was to wear a tie, where would they put it on?
It goes down at the base of their neck.
Aye, but then it would just fall down.
How would it?
Because it's like it would just hang, whereas you'd have it at there, and it would sit nicely down their neck.
Well, if you were putting a tie on, would you put it up there or would you put it there?
I'd put it about there, like in the middle. You wouldn't put it down there.
No, not down there, but you would put it normally where it sits at like the base of your neck.
Aye, but then you're touching the giraffe's like chest at that point.
Well, the thing is, it would go like there and it would go down your chest.
I just find it funny to imagine a giraffe with a big fucking long neck and just a tie away up at the top.
I was at Blair Drummond the other day, actually. I saw lots of giraffes. But no, I don't know, Stephen, if a giraffe has ever suffered from acrophobia, but it would be a funny thing.
Imagine that just every time it looks down.
Oh, you bastard, that's Sophie high. It's not even just like that their necks are dead long, like their fucking legs and all, man.
Do you think when they get up for a sleep and he just yawns and he's like, "Guess fucking hell's taking me." Fucking hell.
Put me down.
A giraffe with vertigo just walking with its head fucking his neck bent all the time.
Right, just to finish us up, we've got Rudy Mulvey. He says, I don't know who decided to play Joy Division at Easter Road at full time, but it was absolutely class. Also, is David Gray the biggest legend in our history? He was the man to lift the cup and could lead us on to more great things.
He's not the biggest legend in the history, but I think...
In your lifetime, is he the greatest ever Hibernian?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would say so. When we're in our 60s and our 70s, I think we'll talk about David Gray the way that my granddad told me about Joe Baker and Pat Stanton and the famous five and all that. Like, that's... Each generation has one. Like, those that lived through the tornadoes will say that no one probably comes close to them. The older ones that lived through the famous five will say that no one came close to them.
And we've got Michael Hart, Michael Nelson.
So the thing is, my teenage generation will say that not, and I said it earlier, nothing could probably come close to the Mowbray team for me. But
this is a generation's team. isn't it?
Yeah, I think David Gray's up there with the likes of Stanton and whatnot for me now. I think he's definitely earned that right
Regardless of what happens in the
as a
final
player.
few games.
He earned that as a player, but he could take it on to another, because guys like Stanton did become manager and never really done much. Obviously, Eddie Turnbull kind of done the famous 5 and then came back and won the League Cup with us in the 70s. But for me, Gray's name deserves to be mentioned alongside those other ones.
Statue?
Potentially. If he can lead us to a Scottish Cup as manager, you would be hard pushed to find anybody that I'd argue till I was blue in the face that he would be the greatest ever, I think.
Maybe that wee guy that did the Lego Easter Road could do a Lego David Gray statue. And finally, just to wrap us up, Dino says, "What a club." Do you agree?
What a place to finish.
What a place to finish. That'll wrap us up. It's been an hour bang on, more or less. Craig, thank you for joining me. Thank you, Ramblers, for listening. If you've got this far, as always, catch us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, yada, yada, yada. We are at the Hibs Ramble. Search us. If we're on there, that's what our handle will be. If you want to get involved in the football tournament, send us a message. If you want to get involved with questions and stuff, look out for our tweets after games and stuff. But all that remains to be seen. And I usually go, we'll catch you after X game. But we've not got a game at the weekend. So we will speak to you next week. We'll probably do a little bit more of a preview heading into the final 5 games of the season. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And we'll speak to you then. Cheery bye.
Let's get ready to rumble.